So I guess I should say something quickly about myself. First of all, my name is Justin Lavash, and I'm English. I've lived in the Czech Republic for about 16 years now. I currently live in Teplice, but I used to live in Prague. I have a problem with my eye, so sorry for my pirate look. But I'm a musician, and I also do some teaching. I teach guitar, I teach English, and that's really about it for me.
Thank you so much, Justin. That was really cool.
Pleasure.
Not often that we get to listen to some live music on Teams.
Did it come through okay? Because sometimes they have filters that block. That's good.
I mean, yeah, no, we listened to. I mean, there's maybe for some of them there was a bit of lag, but I don't know. For me, it was fine.
Cool.
But I'm sure we can put some. What am I trying to say? Videos or whatever from YouTube or something like that later if
cool.
So interested. Sorry, my ability to speak has suddenly disappeared.
I know how it is. Should I mute my camera now or microphone?
Yeah, because we're gonna start with the rest of the group as well. So can I have the guests turn their videos back on, and I will ask you guys to very briefly introduce yourselves as well. I'm just gonna go by order of who I see, basically. So let's see. Let's start with Paul.
Oh, me first. Wonderful.
You're first on my list.
My name is Paul Dean. I'm also English. I've lived in Prague for nearly 10 years now. I'm a filmmaker. A lot of people say that. I really am a filmmaker, so I do everything. I'm a writer, director. I do a lot of editing, make my own films as well. I also work on big projects, and I act sometimes. And I write. So I just do anything that gets me paid normally.
Thanks, Paul. So I'm gonna have, I guess, Jade and Oleg, can you guys go together since you work together?
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone, my name is Oleg, and Jade, you might want to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jade.
Two of us are a part of a STA Prague group, which is a group of actors who decided to make their own films. We tried different variations of genres and different types of storytelling. My background is I'm a filmmaker, studied in Prague Film School and also in Film Institute in Sweden, where I'm from. So I'm technically Swedish. And for the past 3 years, I transitioned into acting.
My background isn't in film. I was a dancer with Czech National Ballet. I came to Prague in 2007, right when I graduated, and I retired quite early in 2013. And since then, I've been trying to get into the acting scene and dabbling a little bit, but then motherhood came and family life. So this is a really exciting new venture for me, taking on this project with Oleg and Fedora, who couldn't make it today. But yeah, it's been a wonderful process of learning, of creating and writing.
Thank you. Next on my random list, we already spoke to Justin, and we have Kel.
Hi there. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Kaur, and I'm from Estonia, and I write mainly historical fiction, and also some plays and poems, and I do some acting if I get a chance, and yeah.
Thank you. That was short and sweet. And then last but not least, Rebecca.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. Hi, everybody. Justin, thanks so much for that music. That really uplifted me. Awesome. So, hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm an American. I'm from New Orleans, and I've lived in Prague for about 9 years. I'm an actor. I'm a voice actor. I'm a musician, and I apologize if you can hear that notification that I'm getting from somewhere. And yeah, I recently started writing my own play for myself a few years ago, and that has been a source of joy and confusion. Also, I teach, so there you go. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, 9th grade. So I hope you, I don't know. I hope you like the introductions. This is bizarre. So 9th grade, I'm gonna ask Jason to remind me who the team leaders of the 4 groups are. Jason, can you remind me who the team leaders of the 4 groups are?
I don't remember the team leaders, but I have the groups.
Okay.
So in group 1, it was Adelka, Sasha, and Jonas.
So okay, we can just do groups 1 at a time. So let's start with group 1. So that Adelka, Sasha, Jonas. Who was the team leader?
I believe it was Adelka.
Speak up before it's too late. Hello, 9th grade.
Maybe me.
I think it was
Okay.
me.
So Sasha, turn on your video and you can ask the first question. Sasha, going once.
Yeah, I just got to find the paper. Just a second.
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's good for all of the teams. Just be ready because I'm going to just randomly call on you as I just did to Sasha. Adelka, do you have them?
Yeah, I have them.
Okay, you can start with the first question if you want, while Sasha ruffles through papers.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have to turn on my camera?
Yes, you do. Hello. Hello, Adelka.
Actually, all 3 of you should have your cameras on. Adelka, Sasha, and Jonas. Jonas, I know that you're in the Canary Islands right now, so, so if you can turn on your camera, that would be nice, but.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you. Sasha, please turn on your camera. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, so first question.
Okay, so all of our.
Sorry, Adelka, before you ask, tell us if you're directing it in general to the whole group or if you want to direct it to anyone in particular.
Sorry, what?
Tell us if you want to direct it to the whole group, like a general question, or if you want to ask someone specific.
I mean, like the questions we have are for writers, so maybe just the writers.
They're all writers. Okay, ask away.
Okay, so our first question was, did you ever had writer's block, and how was it?
Okay, so did you ever have writer's block and how did it go? Raise your hands, guests, if you wish to answer the question. Rebecca.
Oh, what a great question. First, Adelka, if you could tell me kind of what you think of as writer's block, or what your team sees as writer's block. Because I know what I think it is.
Yeah, I think it means like when you don't really know what to write about, when you're, for example, writing a story and all of a sudden you just don't have any ideas, maybe.
Sure. Okay. Well, I would have to say, yes, I definitely have had writer's block. I will, have cleared my afternoon of activities. I'll have my desk ready. I'll have all the things that I need, and I sit down and I'm just like, oh no, what do I do? So yes, I've definitely had that. It happens.
Sorry, Paul?
Sorry, I've never used Teams before. I just discovered the hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have writer's block every single day. I think every writer has a writer's block. It depends on, like Rebecca said, what you mean by writer's block. And I think it comes from fear. 2 things, really. The first thing, it comes from fear, and the best way to get around that is to understand that everything you write is going to be terrible. And just to accept it. And the sooner you accept the fact that whatever you write is going to be bad, the more you will write and the better you will get. So as soon as you become not afraid of failure, then you'll be able to get over writer's block a lot easier. The second part of it is distracting yourself. Like, not if you don't set yourself pressure, like your own deadlines. When you're in the creative industry and you're your own boss, is the hardest thing is to motivate yourself to finish or to get started is the hardest thing to actually start. So setting your own deadline. Recently, I've just started making videos twice a week, and just knowing that I have to publish once, like on a Tuesday and a Friday, it motivates me because I sit there not wanting to do anything and not knowing what I'm gonna do. But when you know that you got to put something up in the next day, giving yourself these hard deadlines can help you get through a writer's block, because you just go, well, I've got to do something now. And if you're anything like me, I always do everything at the last second anyway. So, like this.
Thank you. Cal?
It's a quote from someone, I don't know who was it, but don't get it right, get it written. And it motivates me. I write every day, and I try to get my 5 pages down, and so I get this writer's block every day. But I know that if I get my 5 pages done, I can do anything else, and I get it written, and then I can always edit it later. So it's something you can't edit white page. So you get it done and see it afterwards.
Cool. Oleg?
Yeah. You might hear some people coming in. We're just moving furniture. Nevertheless, writer's block is just it's just a period where you have to. It's the period of searching for me. When I stumble upon a problem of not knowing what to write about or what to write all in general, I just start. Usually, these are the practical advices that I will give you. Is that I start with the free writing. Just let your mind flow a little bit, and then leave it and come back to it. There's usually an idea that always recurring for majority of writers, like a topic, and you'll be able to see it afterwards. The other side is not to put pressure on yourself, because being creative is difficult, and it always will be. It's really about the fact how much you want it. If you really feel there is something you want to tell, you'll tell it eventually. Just keep on coming back to it. Whether or not it's, sorry for the wording, whether it's crap or not, just keep coming back to that and just let yourself fail, and it's fine, because little that you know, majority of the great writers suffer from the same problem every day. So, just keep coming back to it. Keep writing down, and it will be okay. I promise you.
And Elke, was that good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So again, 9th grade, remember that if there's anything you want to add or ask or clarify or whatever, just raise your hands. Oleg, was there something? Your thing just went yellow. Okay. So for speed's sake, and make sure that everyone gets answers correctly, the way we're going to do this is I'm going to go 1 question per group. And group team leader, you can start it, but then afterwards I'm going to ask the other ones to ask questions as well. So for example, if Adelka asked this question, the next time we get to group 1, Sasha will, and so on. Yeah. And again, if you guys have new questions based on the answers that you heard, raise your hands and I'll get to you. So Jason, group 2, who's group 2?
Group 2 is Clarka, Natty, and Camilla.
Clarka, Natty, Camilla, videos, that's the word. Videos on, please.
Yes.
Clarka,
Nati and Camilla, please.
Klarka, Nati, Camilla. Camilla, Klarka, Nati. Going once. Going twice. Klarka, Nati. Camilla is here. Klarka. Klarka is here. That is awesome. Yay, Klarka. Hello. And Nati is here. Woo, yay. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's been a long morning. And we're missing Camilla going once, going twice. For expediency's sake, we will continue. Hopefully Camilla is here. The team leader, I don't remember, was it Nati? Was it true? Nati, was it you? Yes.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. Okay, so Nati, you can start. Tell us, ask us, explain, elaborate.
Okay, well, the question that we are interested in the most is, do you still enjoy making art even though it became a job too? Like, is it still a hobby to you, or is it just a job?
That's a nice question. Paul, tackle away.
Yeah, I like this question a lot. And I think it's, no offense, it's just a bad question in that it's not a job. So I'm a great believer that if you want to have a career in the creative industries, it's not something you do as a job. It's something you do because it calls to you. You can't imagine doing anything else. There's a lot of people, especially in the acting area side of things, especially in the film industry, which I work in primarily. You see a lot of people who do start because they might be thinking it'll make them rich or famous or exciting and glamorous. And the truth is that even for the most, and I've met a lot of famous people, even for them, it's just a lot of hard work. It's a lot of sitting around. It's a lot of not looking like you're actually working most of the time. And then when you do have to work, you work incredibly hard and incredibly fast, and you got to be immediately ready to go. And the only people who survive that for any length of time are people who just couldn't imagine doing anything else. I haven't slept for 24 hours right now because I was making a video. So, like, if you don't push yourself through that, if it's a job, you just can't imagine doing anything else. So, absolutely, does it excite me? Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been doing this for 15 years. I certainly have the qualifications to be getting paid a lot more money than what I do doing this. So you don't do it because you think it's going to be good for your career or for your money or anything else. You do it in all honesty. Very, very few people ever make a living out of it. If you can scrape by making a living in the creative industries, you're already in the top few % of people who do creative industries. So you have to accept that's probably the best goal you can go for. So if you're doing it for any other reason apart from I cannot imagine doing anything else, then you won't be doing it. So in answer to your question, it's not really a question. There is no job.
Thanks. That's a really good way of saying it. Awesome. Justin?
Yeah, hello. I think that's a very good question. And I find that sometimes if you have to do lots of concerts, it's very challenging because you're exhausted. As we heard, it can be very exhausting doing something creative. But I think that it's also, it can be, I found it that when I play lots of concerts, actually it's very hard work, but that's when I play best because I'm thinking about it the least in a way. So it's interesting, that relationship. And when you're performing, you have to find the passion in it. If you can't just treat it like a job. So you always have to keep coming back to that passion that you have for your art. So it can be challenging and difficult, but often it's that time when it's the most challenging, when you're just doing it almost every day, or you haven't slept for a long time, like we just heard. That's actually when you're doing it the best. So it's an interesting contradiction in a way. That's what I wanted to say.
Thanks. The next one was Oleg.
Yeah, so just like previous speakers said, it's not a job. It's for me, it's an obsession.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time it's problem solving. Most of the time it's doubting and suffering and all kind of negative aspects you can think of. But there is a good side to it. I take comfort in the fact that I decided to take that difficult road of trying to make something of my own. There is a strong idea of expressing your thoughts, and these are your own thoughts. These are basically, art is an expression in its purest form, and if you're hopefully you find yourself at the right place at the right time, and people will be willing to pay for what you do. But be prepared to this situation that is probably never going to happen. What I usually bring up often is Van Gogh, an artist who suffered throughout the entire life and never really had that recognition. So, a lot of the artists feel that way, and a lot of the talented people never really get to be on the spotlight and show what they can. So you should treat it like a job, but it's a necessity in the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just a side note, guys, it's not all terrible. Don't decide not to do this based on what we're all saying. Sorry, Jade.
Hello. I would say that whenever you're in a creative industry, there is a side of it that it's a job. Essentially, it's a job. If you're trying to get paid, you're going to have to make some creative sacrifices, maybe to finish and complete a job that is required of you. And it's about a balance. It's not related to writing, but with dance, it was a passion I love my whole life. And then I reached a moment where whenever you are being creative, there's an element of sacrifice. And the sacrifice started to outweigh the passion that I had for it. So the minute it starts to feel like more of a job than a passion and a hobby, I think that's when you can lose the. Oh, sorry, my daughter's here now. This is when you can start to lose the will to push yourself forward, because ultimately the passion needs to outweigh everything else, and it's the only way that you can succeed. And I think it's important to be honest with yourself and balance the sacrifices out against your personal gain. So right now I'm on a new journey with writing and creating. So there's no part of it at the moment that feels like a job for me. Right now it feels purely like a hobby, because everything is so new and exciting and it's all passion. So I'm gonna go.
Thank you, Jane. Go.
I just wanted to add that you can enjoy your job. You can do your job passionately, and for me, writing is a full-time job, and there are long hours and despair and melancholy and depression and sadness and writer's block. But I still enjoy it. It's a love and hate relationship, but I enjoy my job, yes.
Thank you. Again, guys, we're not there to dissuade you from doing this. It is a wonderful place to be, really it is. That was group 2. Jason, who's group 3? Tell me.
So group 3 is Teresa, Kuba, and Lukasz.
Teresa, Kuba, Lukasz, videos on, please. Teresa, Kuba.
Kuba is not here today.
Kuba is not here, so Teresa and Lukasz. I know Lukasz is here because I heard him speak at the beginning of the morning lesson, whatever. Hello, Lukasz. And Teresa, I see Kuba, but I don't. Oh no, that's not Kuba. I don't see. Yeah, Teresa's here. There's. Hi guys. Hello. Okay, so ask away.
Okay, so first question there we have, has quarantine changed your life in a better way or worse? It's kind of common question, but yeah.
Common yet kind of interesting, isn't it? Wow, lots of hands being raised suddenly. I don't remember who was the first one to raise. I think it was Kel.
I just left it on for some reason, but I guess in every country it's a bit different, and my daily life hasn't changed because a few years ago I moved to the countryside. I live basically in the forest, and sometimes I even forget that there's this quarantine, and I call up my friends and ask, do you want to go to the cinemas? And they tell me, where have you been living? I mean, all the cinemas are closed. And oh yeah, there's this quarantine thing. And of course I read and I watch news and so on, but it sometimes just slips my mind. And personally, I would like to live in quarantine. It's the best way to live.
Let's see if anyone else agrees. Rebecca?
Yep. That's funny, Cor. I did the same thing the other day. I said, oh, did you get that haircut yet you were talking about? And my friend was like, what planet do you live on? So yes, I would have to say that quarantine has definitely changed my life in a positive way. I think I run away from a lot of my problems or my questions, and I recently discovered, and I'm not like proud of this discovery, it just is something that I was like, oh, really? I really love to shop. And when I say shop, I mean like I just go to a place and I look at things and I imagine who I could be if I had that hat or these shoes. And I can't do that right now. I can't. There was that brief period in quarantine when like children's clothing sections were opened, and I'm a mom, and I was like, oh, I get to go act like I'm, a normal person. And I just realized how weird that was. I was like walking through most of H&M and it was closed, and I'm like, this is freaky. Not that it was closed, but that my person was so much like, who am I? Where am I? This kind of question. Although I have to say that's also stimulating for my inner world. It's the most stimulating because I can't do anything to distract myself other than use what I have. So I have to say this year I really, really got into my music. I really got into these very small moments in between starting to learn a song and the first failure or the first, oh, it hurts too much to keep playing, I'm going to stop. I got into these moments and I realized that there's this entire inner world that I just haven't even scratched the surface of, So definitely has been amazing. Society is shut down in a way, and that forces me to go inside, which is very rewarding. It's very rich there. So yes, the answer is
Thank you. Paul?
Sorry, mute. To answer the question, the day that the lockdown started last year, I moved into my own apartment for the first time in 15 years. So lived by myself for the first time in 15 years. And I can safely say that this last year, I discovered I like being with myself. I'm actually a cool person. I have a lot of fun with myself. I actually enjoy it. It's not as scary as what I thought it would be. In fact, I'm quite considering the fact I don't like anybody else. This is pretty cool, just being with myself. And to get to Rebecca's point, I completely understand. I go to Lidl once a week, and it is the highlight of my week, is going to Lidl. I get so excited about getting to go to the shops. But on a more serious note, one thing I've really worked on this year in particular is that we spend too much about, there's a danger, especially today in today's society, that we just tend to look outside ourselves for all of our problems. We look for anything to blame. And the truth is that no matter what happens, if you live long enough, life outside is going to change and present you with challenges and put it through. The only thing you have control of in your life is your own actions and what you choose to do with the situation you find yourself in. And it can become too easy to say, oh, there's a quarantine. Oh, I'm not getting the social life I wanted because of COVID. I'm not getting to do the things I wanted to do because of COVID. And the truth of the matter is, that may be partially true, but there's nothing you can do about that. So it's better to actually start to concentrate on what you can do to make your own life better, and just concentrate on the things you have control over. And that's what I've done a lot this year. And in particular, coming from filmmaking is a very collaborative process. Just literally when the lockdown happened, my career was taking off. I was editing a big American feature film. I was in a big American TV show. I had a few days left to shoot on that show. I had a big voiceover job with a big games company on a new game that I can't even talk about. And everything went in one day. All the jobs disappeared. But I discovered something different. I've been making films for all these years, and they can take so long to happen, because you might do 95% of the work to make this film happen, but you're just waiting for one person to give you this tiny piece, or one person to do this other stuff. And just 2 months ago, I just got frustrated with the situation in COVID and all this. And I just went, I'm just going to make my own films. I don't have a camera on me, and I don't have the lights, and I don't have the stuff. So I took this webcam that you're looking at right now, and I just started making my own films. And now I've just finished tonight. I'll release the 15th one. I do it twice a week. And there's nobody else to stop me from finishing it. And I love it. It's been a real eye-opener. It is wonderful collaborating and working with other people. I do miss that. I do still do it in a number of other places. But just having this one little thing, which is taking control of my own life, it's taught me a lot this last year. And I'm not afraid if it opens up anything else. It teaches me that, like, you know what, take some part of it that you can do yourself and make that happen. Stop the excuses for stopping it happening, I think.
Awesome. Thank you. I started talking, forgetting my own mute. I don't usually mute myself. I just blabber at my students. Justin, your hand was up.
Oh, my hand is still up, is it? Aha.
Oh, you don't have to say it if you. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, yeah, it's been difficult in COVID, but it's been. I miss audiences because it's hard to know what to do. That's, we spend all this time preparing material to take to play to people, and if there are no people to play to, it's kind of hard. There's live streaming, but it's not the same as playing real concerts. And so sometimes I found it difficult to remember why I do what I do, because so much of what I do is about entertaining other people. So that's my feeling about quarantine. It's been a difficult time of self-reflection, but I've learned some things along the way, but I'll be happy when it's over. That's what I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you. Noticing time. Jason, who's the fourth group?
Is Vojta, Tunda, and Anichka. Vojta, Tunda, and Anichka.
Vojta, Tunda, Anichka. Hello, Anichka. Where are Vojta and Tunda? Hello, Tunda. Well, that was a cool video screen on. You just kind of flashed into the screen. Missing one person. Vojta. Well, for speed's sake, Anichka and Tonda, well, tell us, ask us, express to us a question.
Okay, so our first question was if you had to do something differently as a child or teenager to become a better writer as an adult, what it would be?
Wow, that's quite the question. Thank you. Well, hands are raising. Oleg?
One thing I would definitely do more of is to travel more and try out new things, because majority of the writing that I do is based on my own personal experience, where I just repackage it and change a little bit to make it more interesting maybe. But I do realize if you have a problem expressing yourself, most of the time, in my personal opinion, is due to the fact that you have you don't have enough experience to talk about the subject you want to write about. So in case you want to write an fantasy adventure, you should go out on an adventure and go to a place you've never been before and try to see what sort of people you might meet on the road, and just write it down, document it for yourself. And because sitting at home will not get you very far, in my personal experience, because you might want to write about some interesting stuff and then you have no personal life reference to base that on, because then it's not become yours. It just becomes the copy of something you read and seen on the other movie, which I realize a lot of artists sometimes tend to do, because you're seeing so much of something you love and you feel like this is what I want to do, but it should be mine again. So before you start writing and do anything else as an artist, really is just to get as much experience as you can. And by experience, I mean not just go to a fancy place and just eat fancy food. It's about putting yourself in a situation where you learn something new about, take something from that experience. I went to India after my graduation in Prague Film School because I want to be in a place where nobody knows me, where I went to Bombay, and it's quite very shocking, culturally shocking. And the thing I took most from there is, even in a third world country place like this, you'll find a lot of positive things. Kids are still happy and they're playing with each other. A lot of people are generous and hospitable, and you run into my friend who I was supposed to meet in Kerala just dumped me and went somewhere else, and he said, my Indian friend's gonna meet you there. And I was there in a station that hoping that will recognize me, and these guys were just village boys who decided to start their own design company. So they make one of those Bollywood posters, and have no education, but because they really wanted it, they decided to get together, get a house, and just start doing their own thing. And it was fascinating because I came from like Sweden, where everything's provided for you and there's no excuse for not doing art. Whereas and so it gives you that perspective on the things, and you learn and you grow as a person that way. So yeah, like, go out, travel, enjoy yourself, see something new, see something different.
Very quickly, we'll have the two other questions. Ninth grade, don't worry, you have me next, so you'll have your 20 minutes break no matter what. Yeah, so we'll just finish these questions. I forget who was next. Rebecca, and then Paul.
I really have to say, I love this question so much. And I'm learning so much from everybody and from these questions. I'm taking my own notes, so thanks for the free class, Mel and Jason. When you asked this question, my brain exploded with all these answers to whys and hows and what happened. And I think as an adult now, I'm 35, if I could go back and change something, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would, because I am where I'm at, and that's cool. But I can say that I look back at myself and that I was embarrassed of who I was for a very long time for various reasons. There can be different pressures or different situations from family, from friends, from the society that you live in, from beliefs, just things pressing in on you. And it forced me to be somebody that I wasn't. So here I am. Who am I? You know, it's kind of exciting, all these questions. But one thing that I did was I always kept a journal. And I'm very excited. My mom is about to send me my first journal from when I was like 7. And I always recorded my dreams in my journals. So I get to reread my like 7-year-old dreams of whatever I dreamt about. And I was able to reflect back on who I was at the time. And some of my journals I can't read because they're so embarrassing. I'm like, how could I have been that person for so long? Ugh. But I think I'm about to start rereading them because, you know, libraries are closed, and Oscar Wilde said something about always traveling with a journal because you get to read the juiciest gossip or something. So I would say wherever you're at, whoever you are for other people or for yourself, don't be embarrassed. Try not to be embarrassed. Just be curious about what's going on inside of you. You're changing. You're in the 9th grade. Oh my gosh, I would not want to repeat 9th grade for a lot of reasons. So yeah, be gentle with who you are. Like, you don't know who you are. Some parts you might really understand, but there's a whole road ahead of you that goes in many directions. So you actually didn't ask for advice, so here I am just going to give it to you. Keep a journal. Try not to be too embarrassed. Try to figure out a place inside yourself, no matter how small, where you know that you know who you are.
Thank you. Just a little nod, guys. Journals, see? Good. I make them write journals every week. They don't like it. I make them.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
Mel, sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Oh, I just rearranged my bookshelf. I love books. I have a problem with that. My journal section on my bookshelf is like this long times 2. It's from my whole life. I traveled with them, and I'm like, wow, I guess I had a lot to say.
Thanks. Paul?
Yes, so, what Oleg said and what Rebecca said. So let me just think of something else. I would add to what Oleg said, that absolutely the first thing that was going to come to my mind was like, get out and experience something so you have something to talk about, which is kind of what Oleg and Rebecca were saying. In the balance side of that, there's also, you can practice the skills, like what Carl was saying before. Like, if you can write 5 pages a day, it's going to be bad, but it's going to get better. And the more you do it, then when you do finally have something to say, then you'll be a lot quicker at being able to say it better. One thing I'd love to add along the lines of what Rebecca was saying is, like, I mean, when you asked the question, I was just like, wow, how old are you guys? And you're trying to figure out now what you should do. There is no way that you've got any idea of who you are yet and what you want to be. And I can tell you that with absolute confidence, because I'm 45 and I still don't know who I am and what I want to be. And what I do want to say is that's a good thing. It's a great thing, because the day that you discover who you are, exactly what you are, and exactly what you want to be, is the day you stop growing. And life is all about growth and moving forward. And if you think you've got all the answers, then you've got nothing left to learn. And if you've got nothing left to learn, then you're already dead inside. So I think when we're younger, one of the benefits of wisdom and getting older is you stop pretending that you know everything. When you're younger, you're afraid that people will judge you for not knowing something. So you try to pretend that you know the answers, even though you don't. And it's not that you actually, the older you get, the more you know. The older you get, the more you know you don't know. And you become less afraid of saying that. And you become less afraid of showing everybody else, I'm just as clueless as you are. Because in those areas which you don't know, you'll find the exciting things in life. That's where you'll find the creativity. The only areas left to explore are the places where people are convinced that they already know the answers. Like in science, is they say you can't go faster than the speed of